Hey, how you doing? I don't know, I don't care because I'm not with you, but I hope you're having and or going to have a great day. Welcome back to another episode of The Talk with KK. And today, as you
KK?
can see, yes,
What's your name, KK? You changed your name?
hush. As you can see,
I
we
didn't
have
name you that.
as you can see, we have a very special guest here. Please help me welcome, officially named the top agent in the DMV area, who created financial freedom for his family, donated over $1 million to different charities, and helped over 2,000 families and people build wealth, Mr. Keith James, who is also known as my dad.
Love you, baby girl.
Okay, today we are getting into the nitty-gritty of immigration and deportation. The dividing nature of immigration in the United States comes from a foundational issue that this country has. Between the country's economic resilience on foreign labor and reoccurring waves of nationalistic and cultural anxiety. For more than a century, the country has come between many different communities and families, whether it was tearing families apart, painting them as the bad guys, or by them literally throwing them out. So today, let's talk about how it affects the housing in the DMV. Welcome onto the show.
What's up?
I know today has probably been really crazy for you,
Yep.
Mr. James.
Every day is.
Father. So to start off, can you just tell us a few other things about you that I haven't already mentioned?
Yeah, I've helped a lot of people build wealth through real estate, and I didn't do it by myself. I have two business partners who are amazing. When you're trying to build something bigger than yourself, you can't do it alone, and that's why we started Coalition Properties Group, headquarters in Washington, D.C., also located in Philly and Richmond, Virginia. I've also been buying real estate since I was 23 years old, and I started buying real estate in the neighborhood I grew up in because I wanted people to, I wanted my friends to know that we don't always have to be tenants, we can also be landlords. And so it's been a blessing, and I'm glad that, the work that I put in is paying off, and it's definitely paying off for you.
Right. Love it. Now, my first question is, how do you feel about all the things that we're seeing about immigration and deportation?
Yeah, I think it's very sad about what's going on. I think that when you don't have a good system around something, and you're just out here doing whatever you think you should be doing, or doing something that you feel is right, not by law, but for your own motives, I think that's wrong. And I really feel like everyone should be created equal. That's what's in the Constitution, and that's not happening. And it's not fair. It's not fair to families. It's not fair to the country, because when you go outside of this country, people are laughing at us, and people are looking at us in a negative light, and it shouldn't be that way.
On that note, as a Black real estate agent, how do you navigate the intersection of race and nationality and housing equality and equity? And has there ever been an issue with you dealing with that?
I've been in situations where I wasn't treated fairly when it came to real estate. I've been judged when I've tried to, get certain loans from banks and things of that nature, especially when I started out so young. I remember my first time going to try to get a loan, and the banker was asking me certain questions that implied I was doing illegal activities, and that was money that I had saved up, and I actually had pulled that money from my retirement account to buy my first house, and that's how I actually bought my first house. But just being in certain situations where you don't feel welcome, and that's the barrier that we've tried to break down. Been the number one Black-owned real estate group in the country, and one of the top real estate groups in the country overall. And we've put more Black people in homes than anybody in the country. I put more Black people in homes than anybody in the country by far. And it's been a blessing to do that. And I think that when it comes to real estate, 90% of the wealthiest Americans get their wealth from real estate. So there's no need to reinvent the wheel. And we lead with education, because a lot of times we weren't afforded the opportunity to even learn about real estate to even learn about money and financial literacy in a sense. So I feel like it's my duty and my fiduciary responsibility to help people.
Right. Okay, so we've already mentioned how we stay in the DMV area. And as we know, you get a mix of everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You get Hispanics, Blacks, Asians, whites, Indians, Afghanistans, Pakistanis, Middle Easterns. I don't know what it is. All right. So that leads me to my next question. How does the DMV's unique, diverse demographic help shape your local real estate client base?
I think it's super cool. I learn so much every single day about different nationalities and people culture and things of that nature. I remember going to a housewarming for my clients that was Asian, and I learned so many things about their culture that I didn't know. And what's interesting is that the media portray cultures in a certain light, and it's not even the truth. And so I've been able to firsthand, especially in this area where it's so diverse, be able to learn really and truly about the culture of different nationalities and things like that. So it's been super cool.
Okay, so on the topic of deportation and immigration, we saw how bad it got not that long ago, a couple months ago, when we were seeing all the protests happening in DC and the tear gas and people getting killed over this. In what ways do deportation fears impact a family's willingness to commit to a long-time mortgage?
That's a great question, actually, to be honest with you. That's a super good one. That's probably one of the best questions you got on here, by the way.
Oh, wait. So just don't come for my questions, though.
I'm just saying, it's one of the best questions you got. It's funny because, when the National Guard came to D.C., not a lot of people were wanting to come look at homes in D.C. because they were afraid. And quite honestly, the National Guard, they were just there for the optics. They've been there for the optics, A lot of people, when it comes to deportation, because of the deportation and what was going on, it slowed down construction. And now the DC market is in a very bad state. I do think it will come back, but because of the deportation and because of what was going on with the government, just being out there harassing people and doing what they were doing, a lot of the contractors that I have, which are Hispanic, would not come to DC to do construction, which, as we all know, that put DC in a very bad place because it slowed down renovations, it slowed down new inventory coming to the market. So when you don't have new inventory coming to the market, it becomes a buyer's market, meaning that a lot of people aren't buying properties.
Right. Okay, so moving on to more fun-based questions.
Okay.
And not more so. Right. Have you ever, in your personal experience, encountered someone or had an interaction with anyone who genuinely was distraught or honestly just was having a hard time in the DMV area when it came to that?
Came to what?
The deportation and immigration.
I wouldn't necessarily say someone that was distraught. No, I haven't. What I will say, the energy of DC is different and it has changed, which has caused low morale in the city for sure. That has happened. And I think it was compounded by a lot of different situations. You gotta remember, we had the government layoffs, the Doge layoffs, right? And then we had the government shutdown, and then we had the deportation, all of that going on at the same time. Mm-hmm. So the morale in the city has been down tremendously because of that.
And while being located, one of your offices of the many, as
on
we
Capitol
know,
Hill.
Have you ever looked out the window and or heard anything going on, or even just seen?
January 6th. I looked out my window. I was in a meeting, and I looked at my mom was blowing my phone up. I didn't know why she was blowing my phone up. And when I finally called her, she said, "Are you okay? you see what's going on? I had no idea. And then I went and looked out the window. I was in my office in the penthouse, and I went and looked out the window, and people were marching, heading to the Capitol. January 6th. It was crazy. They were heading to take over the Capitol. How stupid is that? Right? Like, it's stupid, ignorant, you know? And so, yeah, I have witnessed that, seen it firsthand, watched it.
And with you saying that, how do you think things could be or would be different if administration in the White House took different approaches and different precautions to this situation?
It would be a lot better. I mean, we saw that before the new administration came in. The energy was great. The morale was high. People wanted to be in the city. They wanted to be outside in the city. The economy was great in the city. And then the new administration came in, and it's not anymore. Period. Point blank, period. It doesn't get any more factual than that.
Interesting. What'd you do today?
Work. What you do today?
I slept.
I know.
I didn't feel good.
Per usual.
Not per usual. I'm
Sleeping.
never sleeping. No.
You working, you sleeping per usual. That's coming.
No. I was just in my bed, resting my eyes.
Yeah. I wish I could be in my bed resting my eyes.
Don't you?
I'm
I'm actually really hungry.
Go fix you something to eat.
But like, can we get Chipotle?
No.
Why not?
Because not only Chipotle, we got food in the microwave. I mean, food in the refrigerator.
In the microwave?
In the refrigerator.
There's nothing up there to eat.
You sure?
Yeah.
Did you look?
Yeah.
So if I go look and see and find some food, you gonna take your phone for a week?
That was funny. Well, sir, as much as I would love to keep this conversation.
Cover what?
This conversation.
What is a conversation?
No, this conversation going, you know, sadly, this talk is running out of time. Stop. Thank you so much, Mr. James, Father, for being on the show and coming to talk about this topic that is hard to think about. And PS, right?
Yeah.
And PSA. If you ever need a house, stop. See, this no customers. If you ever need a house, you know who to call. You can call me or contact him. You know, call me. Or Coalition Properties Group. Look them up. You know, look them up. And thank you for listening to the talk with KK. I hope to see. Nobody does that anymore. Oh my goodness. I hope to see you in the next episode. Toodles, y'all.